Good afternoon, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I see a few of you in the chat. JD Aviation World, JDS Aviation World, I should say. And Lucy and Dawn and Jax as well. A little bit of an impromptu live stream this afternoon. We have the Patrice Swiss rehearsing in just a moment here at Duxford. And as you can see, the Catalina at the moment. See Lucas saying the weather forecast looking good. It is looking good for tomorrow. A little chilly for the camera ops up on the roof. I can see Lucas in the chat there saying that the weather's looking good. It is. It's lovely conditions at the moment, but good forecast for tomorrow. It's the flying finale at Duxford that we're live streaming from tomorrow, live from about 1 p.m. And there's a stream set up. If you're a subscriber, you might well have seen that already. And the forecast looking great for tomorrow. Lots of sun, if a little cold. Talking about weather, you may well be able to hear on the mics, it's a windy old day here at Duxford. The wind is due to drop tomorrow, so I'm not expecting that to interfere. And to be honest, we've seen plenty of flying this afternoon here whilst we've been getting set up. You can see the, let me stick it on camera too, you can see the canopy cover on the Hurricane there flapping about. A blustery old afternoon, but Catalina not affected at the moment. It is pretty well straight down the runway actually. I can see Kevin in the chat. Nice to meet you too, Kevin. Saying he's off to work in a bit and sadly can't make the show. So glad we're bringing it to you. Well, our very great pleasure. Oh, I should concentrate on what I'm doing, aren't you? See the camera up's losing it. Stick it on camera 2. So if you're just tuning in, it's a bit of a couple of rehearsals this afternoon prior to the flying finale at Duxford tomorrow, which will be live broadcasting here on YouTube. So I'm unreliably informed that it's I'll just sort out our comms. The wind noise creating a little bit of a challenge on the talkback system here as all communicating. Did you say Jeff Boiling, Adam? Jeff Boiling and Derek Head flying the Catalina this afternoon, and no doubt tomorrow as well, I assume. Bit of a practice prior to the show day proper tomorrow. And we're kicking up a live stream here now because we're anticipating the Petrie Twist to rehearse or validate, whatever you call it, here at Duxford in a little while. And Dan Pearce saying he'll be here tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you here. And Kevin encouraging people to hit the like button, never a bad idea. Should say that if you're new to Duxford shows, which I'm certain 90% of you aren't, the Swiss not operating from Duxford, the runway's too short, but they're up at Waddington. Can't see them on ADS-B or flight radar, whatever you like to call it. But if anyone's in the chat and spot them, do give me a heads up. Got both camera operators with their eyes peeled. The Blenheim's being towed out as well by the sound of it. Could be a busy afternoon. this could be one of those afternoons where we sort of spend a great deal of time just waiting, but bring you some of the sights and scenes as Duxford comes alive, ready for the flying finale here tomorrow, the sort of finale to the season's flying, or the air shows anyway. What does Kevin say? Kevin's saying he's heading to work in 5 minutes. Have a good afternoon at work. Kevin, nice to see you in the chat there. Hopefully you get to catch up tomorrow. A bit of vegan street food, yum. So yeah, talking about the weather, as we like talking about the weather, don't we? And we are fairly heavily affected by it. The forecast looking great tomorrow, sort of nice blue skies, little chilly. It's a breezy day today, and this window now, so the next 3 hours, is the only period of the time that we'll be up here at Duxford today, tomorrow. We're expecting a little bit of rain, so knowing our luck, we'll probably get some of that during the Swiss display. Yeah, light winds tomorrow, heavy at the moment, but right down the runway. So the little Cessna heading off at the moment, hidden by the Catalina. And if you're new to Planes TV, I doubt many of you are. If you've managed to find this impromptu live broadcast, Jose tuning in from Brazil, as usual, another great presentation. Well, it's very kind of you. This is a bit of a ham-fisted affair, if that translates appropriately. Just testing a few bits and pieces out prior to the presentation of tomorrow's flying finale proper. Fairly limited team again tomorrow, just myself, Adam and Adrian, but regular viewers will be used to us muddling through and pulling it off somehow. Making a bit more of an effort. If you've tuned in to Flying Days previously, you'll know that there isn't a commentary system here on site like there would be at the larger shows, and we like to hear from the commentators because it means I don't have to say too much. And Ben and Siobhan, and indeed the Swiss, will all be providing commentary tomorrow, and I've thrown a mixer at them, an audio mixer, so we'll be able to get a little bit of a nicer audio feed from them, rather than pointing a microphone at a speaker, which is not the ideal scenario. There being no other option for us in the past at Flying Days. So yeah, trying something new out this weekend. We won't be hearing from them this afternoon. The Swiss are on site, but they're just providing a bit of, what should we say, ground reconnaissance, just setting up their audio gear ready for tomorrow. And enjoying the sights at Duxford. This, I'm told, the Patrice Swiss, first display in the UK for over 5 years, actually. We saw them a couple of weeks ago in Ostrava. Wonderful performance out there. I'm hoping for more of the same. And Adam in my ear saying the last time the guys were over here was 2017, and performing at both Yeovilton and Riyadh that year. And both of those programs, of course, on our streaming service. Here's a good test, see if I've got a title set up. Nope, wrong one. So the streaming service is at watch.planestv.com. Regular viewers will be sick to death of me mentioning it, and if you have already signed up, a huge thank you to you for doing so and for sticking with us. Subscribers to that service do play a really important part in, frankly, funding trips out like this to produce some free to view content here on YouTube. So if you are a subscriber there, thank you very much for doing so. That's very kind, Willie. But I think we can all agree that Ben does a fabulous job. And the Swiss too. with a bit of their music as well to really bring the presentation. Yeah, okay. Cessna heading off. What else have we got in the chat? Steve says he's standing next to the control tower watching us filming. Shame about the wind, it is. At least it's not raining. Famous last words, Steve. If it does now rain, and we both get wet, it is firmly and squarely on you, sir. Keith asking, is it easy to get to Duxford on a normal day by public transport? Well, one of my camera ops here generally travels to the event via public transport. Whittlesford Parkway out to the east, pretty accessible from the south and north, and yeah, not too far. It's a walk really from that station, but Adam, you're in my ear. Are there buses and things from the station? You could definitely get a taxi if you had to. And Russ saying he was over here 3 weeks ago while visiting the UK. Brilliant museum. It really is, isn't it? I dragged the kids here. Well, we were on our way to a holiday and dropping off the trailer in the summer and give them an opportunity. One of their first opportunities to have a look around an aviation museum, actually. And one of the important things about Duxford, of course, is it's a very active aviation site. So lots going on in the air as well as static exhibits on the ground. A very worthwhile visit. Yeah, and they enjoyed it a lot, especially when we bumped into Peter Kuipers polishing the B-17. Well, I'm sure it's doing something more significant than that, but yeah, captaining the B-17 and giving them a bit of a chat about that aircraft was really nice. You can see the lineup of the classic airliner, the British airliner collection there. If you look very closely, you'll be able to see the 146 tail tucked away, a new exhibit as of the winter. Gosh, when were we up here, Adam? Can't think, but some of you will have watched the live stream, I'm sure, of that aircraft retiring here to Duxford. Now on display out the front. And the Victor, a new exhibit, having been its restoration having been completed just last week, I think. Haven't had a nose in the hangar airspace just yet to have a look at that, but very much looking forward to doing so. Dan tuning in from a blustery Norwich. It's got to calm down soon. Maybe we're going to get this downpour of rain through. I'm going to open the rainfall radar. So, any sign of the Swiss on ADSB? See a couple of things milling around. Catalina on the deck, lots of stuff into Stansted. But no Swiss. Just the commander's just gone inside from the control tower after a phone call, so take what you want from that. I suspect probably there might be time for a brew before we see the Swiss displaying, rehearsing over Duxford. Stay with us though. KC-135 overhead, I suppose a regular sight in these parts. Not something you can see, sorry, I'm staring at a web page. I suppose I could head outside and say hello to you on the camera, but too many buttons to push in here. Who else have got in the chat? Yeah, Russ saying a really nice walk through the Concorde. And nice to see the Lancaster. You have another in Canada. Of course, the Lancaster here at Duxford isn't the flying one. Although when you were here, it might well have been, actually, because it does. The guys at RK do work on the aircraft sometimes over the winter. So it might well have been what you saw. But there is another Lancaster, I'm sure. Is there? In the museum, there must be a Lancaster. Yeah, Keith asking what station is it? It is Whittlesford. Quite right. Sounds like Dale says it's raining in Menorca. Well, so far so good on the rain here, but there is, oh my goodness, yeah, I can see a weather front coming through. I think we might just squeeze in this flying, and then the rain will chase us into knocking down. Do you know what? I think we've got a couple of hours before we see any rain here in Cambridgeshire. Cross my fingers. And Hog saying a weather cancellation for the Swiss. It could well be, because it looks awful over Lincoln at the moment. In which case, you've had a few nice passes of the Catalina and me moaning about the weather, and that might be our afternoon. I'll just knock my audio off and go and have a little wander around and see if we can get an update from the guys here. Hey everyone, so the Swiss have sadly scrubbed. The weather looking really quite intense up at Waddington. That's the weather that we're anticipating swinging through here in a couple of hours, so I think we're going to call ourselves set up and prepped and ready for tomorrow. A couple of things we want to do, but yeah, beyond that, sounds like a Swiss rehearsal or validation in the morning. So yeah, going to be a busy day for us tomorrow. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, do that. I've got the live stream set up ready to go for tomorrow. We'll be live from about 1 p.m. and you can go to that live stream now and ask it to give you a notification so you don't forget us. Fill your afternoon full of aviation. Thanks very much for tuning into this little impromptu live stream. I hope you've enjoyed the few sights and scenes from a blustery Duxford, and we'll be back with you tomorrow from about 1 p.m. Thanks, cheerio.